uncoordinated Confederate attack of part of Fulton's brigade at the south end of the field, part of Law's brigade, part of Clayton's brigade, part of Pate's brigade. They are now penetrating the federal line. Van Cleve and the other elements that are here in this field are being driven off in that direction. We'll talk more about the federal side of this this afternoon. As David related, Clayton is going to go through this strip of trees here and into the edge of the southern Dyer field. He's going to get to what is called the tan yard on the Dyer farm. Both the 15th and 37th Tennessee and the 58th Alabama seem to turn more northwestward and move in that direction. Probably simply that turn is more in pursuit of withdrawing Federals who, as a result of the pressure from the south, start withdrawing to the northwestward, and these guys kind of move in that direction as well. So, a Confederate crossing of the road, there's now a hole in the Union line. David,
Did the Confederates realize how important it was that they came over, or were they giving orders to stay put or hold as long as you could, or was it significant at all?
The short answer is no, because none of the senior commanders are really here to orchestrate that. Individual brigade commanders knew they had penetrated across the Chattanooga Road. They all called this the Chattanooga Road for the most part. But there's no divisional commanders here. Even A.P. Stewart is.
I think he stuck with Clayton more or less, didn't he?
Yeah. But not to go across there.
Well, I mean, there's no evidence one way or another, right? But you know, the evidence is he stuck with Clayton. You know, it's a new brigade, and
Right.
and Clayton's a new commander, and so I mean that's what I always concluded, that he stayed with them more than anybody else.
yeah, that's certainly true in the first part
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
fight.
Because Ridley backs that up.
Right.
Yeah. They're when they're in that state of firefight.
And what Stewart does say is that he sends off his staff looking for support.
Yes.
Stewart senses that he has done something potentially significant for the Confederates, and he needs reinforcements. And he sends his staff off looking for those reinforcements, but is not really going to find any of them. And then I think it is one of the most telling statements about Army of Tennessee leadership in the Battle of Chickamauga. It's the next to last or last paragraph of Stewart's report. He's finished covering the 19th. He covers the 20th. He talks about his casualties in the 2 days of the battle. He praises his staff and the leadership of the division, and then he returns to this subject, and he says, "Once I left the commanding general, I saw no one on the battlefield higher than division command." What has he just said about his own corps commander, who I don't necessarily blame because what Bragg has done to Buckner's corps? But what's he just said about his own corps commander, Simon Bolivar Buckner, and the other Confederate corps commanders on the battlefield? Not anything good.
Or the wing commander, Leonidas Polk, who he's assigned to.
Technically, he's under Polk's.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. So
We didn't see him the whole day, did he?
no, he never saw
saw him.
Polk. Yep. All he sees of Polk is Lieutenant W.B. Richmond, who, because Richmond was a named member of Polk's staff, Richmond is colored with Polk's authority. And so when Richmond says back there at the southeast corner of the Brock Field, when Richmond says, "I think this would be a good place for you to fight," that might as well have been the disobedient Bishop General sitting there on his horse in front of Stewart saying, order to attack here. So when you are a named member of a general staff, you are colored with his authority. And you know, when you look at some of these staff officers and you look at how young they are and what connections got them their position, you wonder what the heck is this 19-year-old second lieutenant who's a nephew of the general doing, essentially as powerful as the general.
Not gonna get any older though.
Yeah, right. Although W.B. Richmond actually is a little bit older. I forget.
He was pre-war acquaintance of folks who did some accounting work or something for the Archdiocese.
Yeah, because oftentimes in Confederate accounts he is called Colonel Richmond.
Wow.
And that's a militia grade that he had. He is older. He's not quite as young as his grade here mentions, and he's an aide-de-camp, not another type of staff officer.
The Confederates, are they about ready to run out of ammunition?
Well, Clayton has gone back and resupplied. Bates' men are going to be getting close to the end of their ammunition. So, and in fact, Stewart's fight is a good illustration that, well, as you read Union reports, you see pretty regularly in the Union reports that Union officers report that their men go into battle with the 40 rounds in their cartridge box and another 20 rounds on their person somewhere. That the Union troops mostly enter this battle with 60 rounds of ammunition. But you see very, very, very few references on the Confederate side of anybody having more than the 40 rounds in their cartridge box. And Stewart's experience, first Clayton, then Brown, then Bates, I think backs that up. They all shoot up all of their ammunition, and in fact, it is more the expenditure of ammunition by Clayton and Brown which causes them to disengage than it is anything else. The Confederates are not carrying additional ammunition, probably because of how precious lead was to them. If you give a soldier additional rounds to carry somewhere on his person, it could easily get damaged, and then you've lost that round. In the spring of 1863, there were regular inspections of the cartridge boxes of the soldiers of the Army of Tennessee. And they would look in that box to make sure it was full to 40 rounds. And you wanted to keep it full because then the rounds can't jostle around any and potentially break. And any soldier who had lost a round, or who had taken a round and broken it open and carved the bullet into a chess piece or something like that, if he did not have 40 rounds in his cartridge box, he was charged 25 cents for each round he was short 40. And when you got paid only $11 or $13 a month, how many bullets are you going to lose in a month's time? Percussion caps were 5 cents each. And there were weekly inspections where they counted every round and every percussion cap. And soldiers are charged for lost rounds and percussion caps. But ammunition is going to be an issue for the Confederates.
So did Brown do like Clayton, refill his
Right.
boxes?
Yeah, Brown has resupplied.
He fell back.
He fell back, reorganized, resupplied his boxes, and Brown actually moves up and is kind of in a support position, not only marginally engaged in his second advance.
They thought there was an attack coming in from another angle.
Yeah, they kind of
more in that direction.
they kind of stop behind that space that is developed between the 4th Battalion and the 20th Tennessee and the 37th Georgia. They think that the Federals might attack into that area. Okay. Other questions or observations? Or anything else you want to add? Okay. So we will now move to the center of Bates Brigade.